it. And if it does feel lumpy, check the other side. They're probably the same. If there is a lump there, for example, my lollipop, you can squish this breast tissue all the way down to the chest wall, and the same on the other side. But if there is a lump there, you'll feel it. You won't be able to push down as flat. And that's the lump that you probably need to let your GP know to get it checked out. So you're going to examine your breasts. Think of your breasts like a teardrop that does that. It doesn't matter how you do it. I tend to start in circles, going around the outside, moving in until I get to the nipple. When I get to the nipple, and I'm pressing quite firmly here, I feel behind the nipple as well. The final place to look is underneath your armpit, because you can get enlarged lymph nodes there. If you're slim, you may feel them normally, and they're about the size of a split pea or a lentil. Cancerous lymph nodes are bigger and firmer, maybe like a marble or a boiled sweet. The trick is to relax your armpit. So rest your hand on your shoulder. With this hand, what you're trying to do is squish the tissue and the fat of your armpit against your rib cage. So my hand's nice and relaxed. My arm's going in really, really high above the hairline. And I'm just kind of squishing up there to see, can I feel any hard lumps underneath my fingers? And then do the other side.
Hi, everyone. Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and it's the month I hate the most of the year. If you've just been diagnosed with breast cancer, it can be incredibly triggering.
Hi, I'm Lizzie Reardon. I'm a consultant breast surgeon, and I'm going to show you how to examine your breasts properly. The first thing you're going to do.
Does anybody have any questions, or does anybody want to see that film again? It's very short. If you have any questions. Anybody wants to see it again? Okay, all right. So just run it one more time, because I made it very short. So if you want to see it again, you have questions. Perfect. Go ahead.
Do is look. You're going to get topless in front of the mirror and look at yourself. If you've got heavy breasts, lift them up so you can see underneath. Then turn to the side and the other. You're looking for lumps that you can see sticking through the surface of the skin. You're looking to see whether the nipple has been pulled in. And you're looking to see if there's a little puckering of the skin. And it might be really, really subtle. And that's because breast cancers grow and they cling on to strands of tissue that go from the chest wall at the back through to the skin. And as they grow, they constrict those strands of tissue. And that's what causes a dimpling that you might see. The next thing you do is put your hands above your head. And then you put your hands on your hips and push in, tensing the chest muscles. And doing both of those things can show you a lump or a tethering that you wouldn't otherwise see. Hi, the next step in checking your breasts is to feel. What most people don't realize is the best way to examine your breasts isn't standing up, unless you have very, very small breasts. But really, you should do it how a breast surgeon does it, and that's with you lying flat at about 30 degrees. For example, lying down in bed with your head propped up on a couple of pillows. What that does is lift a heavy breast onto the chest wall. And if you've got particularly large breasts that like to flop over to the side, you can roll your body towards the midline. And what that does is lift your breast tissue onto the chest wall, making it much easier to feel if there's anything there. So how do you feel your breasts? Well, the most important thing is to know which part of your hand to use. And it's the undersurface of your fingers. Keeping your fingers flat, you bend them at the knuckles. And what you're trying to do is to squish your breast tissue against your rib cage underneath, like this, by pushing down, seeing if you can feel a lump. A lot of women, especially around the time of the month, can have very lumpy breasts. It can feel like a mixture of sweet corn and jelly, and it's completely normal. Often this bit of the breast is the most lumpiest bit, and if it does feel lumpy, check the other side. They're probably the same. If there is a lump there, for example, my lollipop, you can squish this breast tissue all the way down to the chest wall, and the same on the other side. But if there is a lump there, you'll feel it. You won't be able to push down as flat. And that's the lump that you probably need to let your GP know to get it checked out. So you're going to examine your breasts. Think of your breasts like a teardrop that does that. It doesn't matter how you do it. I tend to start in circles, going around the outside, moving in until I get to the nipple. When I get to the nipple, and I'm pressing quite firmly here, I feel behind the nipple as well. The final place to look is underneath your armpit because you can get enlarged lymph nodes there. If you're slim, you may feel them normally and they're about the size of a split pea or a lentil. Cancerous lymph nodes are bigger and firmer, maybe like a marble or a boiled sweet. The trick is to relax your armpit. So rest your hand on your shoulder. With this hand, what you're trying to do is squish the tissue and the fat of your armpit against your rib cage. So my hand's nice and relaxed. My arm's going in really, really high above the hairline. And I'm just kind of squishing up there to see, can I feel any hard lumps underneath my fingers? And then do the other side.
Hi, everyone. It's breast.
Okay, so that's it. Now, we're going to have some special music by Elder Robinson.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that would have been number 4, but that's the track itself. This one is this one that you just played is I Found a Lily. But the other one is Consider the Lilies. It's not there? No, Consider the Lilies. All right, so let's play, it will be worth it after all.
While we wait.
When the spirit will preach you, to teach us right from wrong. In old fashioned seed curves, oh, pray all night long. When it's a good gospel singing, to help us go another mile. The church will be triumphant and go home in a little while. It will be worth it after all, child. It will be worth it after all. After all of these trials, we'll hear Jesus call. It will be worth it after all, child. It will be worth it after all. After all of this time, it will be worth it after all. Now when you're down in the valley and praise all that you can do, the Lord will send you around and strengthen you. But if you're up on the mountain and see me stroking along, just lift my name to Jesus and help me make it home. For it will be worth it after all, child. It will be worth it after all. After all of these trials, we'll hear Jesus call. It will be worth it after all. Yeah, it will be worth it after all. After all of this life, me, it will be worth it after all. After all of this life, me, it will be worth it after all.
Does anybody here know anyone with breast cancer? You know someone. Has anyone here been diagnosed with breast cancer? Anyone? Okay. Most times we know someone, if not, family or close friends, we know someone with breast cancer. Now, how do you think that you would cope with something like that? Because it's one thing when other people has a problem, but when you get that problem, how do you think you would cope with something like that? Anybody could answer that question. One person could just stand up and give them the mic. Because in church, there's certain things that we talk about and certain things we don't talk about, and I feel like breast cancer is one of the things that we should be talking about, but we're not talking about. Okay? Just ask yourself that question, and anybody could answer it. How would you feel if you get a diagnosis of having breast cancer? Is there a mic around? Is there a mic? There's a hand over here.
Where's the hand?
At this point, maybe years ago, I would be fearful, but at this point and the understanding that I have of the human body and trusting in God and his methodologies to heal, I personally wouldn't be afraid because I know the methodology that the method that I would take to deal with it, recognizing how it came into being, right? And how God would want me to help the body build the immune system and allow the body to heal itself. In that right environment, then the body will do what it can. I personally would not go the conventional route, but that's for each person to choose for themselves.
Okay. And Sister Victor, you're a medical missionary. You are?
I have taken, the courses in medical missionary. However, I've studied a lot of naturopathic doctors
That's the
and
key.
understand that there are other methods that we're not being offered as far as treatment. It's only one or two methods that are being offered to most people, but based on the understanding that I have, I just personally wouldn't do it.
Anybody else want to respond to that question? If you were told that you had breast cancer, how do you think you would handle that information? Sister D'Souza, are you saying something? Give her the mic, please.
For me, it's a scary thought. When my friend told me that she was diagnosed with breast cancer, we bawled our eyes out on the phone. So I would be in denial, telling the honest truth. I would be in denial until it really hit home. Yeah.
I remember when my friend told me that she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And she was even saying something about how long the doctor gave her to live. But I just was not hearing it. Once I heard the diagnosis, I'm like, oh, no. This is not going to happen to my friend. I says, she is such a warrior for the Lord. There's no way he's going to let us, succumb to certain games. So once she said that she had it, I just said to her, you're gonna be fine. And there were a couple other friends on the phone and everybody, you could hear them crying and sniffling and stuff. But for some reason, I just had a nice peace that I knew that the Lord was going to take care of her. Not a lot of people feel like that. I know of other people who are totally devastated with a diagnosis like that. And how do you treat it? That's the biggest thing. How do you treat it? It's one thing getting a diagnosis, but how do you treat it? Should you go conventional or should you go homeopathic? Sometimes you don't even know a homeopathic doctor, you know? Sometimes you don't even a conventional doctor is the very best. You really don't know. But it's a decision you have to make. Now, I could tell you some things that they do to treat it. Well, the one that everybody knows is chemotherapy. But the problem with chemotherapy is it kills good cells as well as the cancer cells. And some people can become very, very sick, losing weight, nauseous, vomiting. But the biggest thing for women, losing your hair, right? So chemo is one, it's like an assault on the body. Yes, it helps some people, but it's a trauma to your body. The next thing that you could do, some people do, well, also it depends on the type of cancer. Some people will do radiation. Okay, it could be radiation to reduce a tumor and then surgery, or it could be radiation and maybe sometimes they just remove a lump. All right. Sometimes it's the whole radical breast they remove, which is called a radical mastectomy. All right, so they could do what they call a lumpectomy. They can do radiation. They could do chemotherapy, but they can also do immunotherapy. And personally, I like immunotherapy because what it does, you get medication that is going to build your immune system and help you fight the cancer. Okay? And to me, that's a much better approach than taking all of these heavy chemicals that definitely affects you. You know, what they do, they work with your immune system and even your cells. Right? Okay, all they're doing is just building your immune system. It might be with some medicines. It could also be with foods that are very good at building up your system. Some use stem cells, which will help you, again, to build your system and to fight off some of these cancer cells. Not much is being said right now about chemo, about the immunotherapy, because of course it's expensive, one, and they most likely recommend chemotherapy. But you have a choice. You could also go homeopathic, and it's clearly up to you what you want to do. Okay, some people go conventional, some people go homeopathic. Some people do a combination, okay? But my job this evening is not really so much to talk about the treatment, but to increase awareness that we really should do our breast examination. How often? How often should we do breast examination? Every month. Don't do it during the time of your period, because it seems that that's a time where you have a lot of lumps in the breast and you might have pain and so forth. So you don't want to do it during your period. You do it like a week after your period, as long as you do it between periods. So let's say your period ends today, you could do it between now in the next 2 weeks, anytime in the next 2 weeks. So it's a little more accurate. You don't have discomfort when you're doing the exam and so forth. But once a month, or just pick a day each month, like say on the 10th of every month, I'm going to do it. All right. And you do the breast examination. It's not hard. Most times women find their own lumps, or their husbands find, or boyfriends find these lumps. So it's well worth doing it. You know, you might think, well, this is not a big deal. But believe me, if you catch it early, that's your best shot by God's grace to treat this and to overcome it. And the body could fight cancer. I know of a number of people who use the immunotherapy, people in their 70s and 80s, and are cancer-free right now. And those are older people. They did not use the chemotherapy. They use immunotherapy. So there is treatment out there. You don't have to run for the chemo. You don't have to run for the radiation. You don't have to run for the surgery. You have other options before you go to that. Okay. Any questions?
I got a question. What is immunotherapy?
As I just mentioned, it's the process where they use medications or drugs to build your immune system. All right, so you have more defense to fight the cancers in the system, and they even use stem cells as well to help your body fight the cancers. And people have become cancer-free using immunotherapy. Mhm. Any other question? Mhm. Yes. Mhm.
For the people who have cystic breasts, how do they determine they have a lump? You know? Yeah, there are some people, the breast is very lumpy,
Mhm.
have a lot of, like cystic, they call it, so.
Well, the truth is, when you do your breast exam, and this is why you should do it monthly, because after a while, you get to know what is normal. One breast might feel like there's a lot of lumps in it, so check the other one to see if there's a lot of lumps in it. Because a lot of people have cystic breasts, and it's not cancer or anything like that. It's just their
Very
breasts feel
lumpy.
very fibrous.
Yes.
But that's normal. And of course, if you're really concerned, when you go to your doctor and let them do the breast exam to see if there's anything there. Okay.
But the mammogram, I understand, expose you to more radiation and make you more prone to get breast cancer too. Because constantly going to do this, and they never really like tell you that there is like a protective gear that you could protect your chest when they're doing the mammogram. They never offer it to you. If you don't ask for it, they don't give it to you.
I understand
If
that.
which when you do your dental, they don't give you the protective gear for your neck to protect your thyroid and nothing. If you don't know about it, they don't offer it to you. You have to ask for it.
Yes.
And if you don't know about it, people can ask for what they don't know about.
True.
That's another thing too. And they don't educate you about that either.
Well, with the mammogram, they always try to tell you the radiation is not at levels to cause any medical issues for you. And it's only a short time that you're exposed, so. Well, I would say yes. Because sometimes you may not feel anything, but there's something there. And if you do the mammogram, it picks it up.
Mike. Can you also repeat that question for Zoom?
Mhm.
All right, my question was, does a mammogram really necessary? And we heard Sister Rob answer already. But I was saying because sometimes the mammogram, it doesn't, and there's a my doctor told me that, you know, it doesn't pick up the thing, you know, it doesn't pick it up even in time for you to know that it's there.
Sometimes you do have that situation where the mammogram don't pick it up. But if you continue to feel something there, they can now add a sonogram to it. Right, ultrasound, yes.
So I have a question. I know we're looking at the treatments for breast cancer, but what are some of the causes that will lead to breast cancer?
Well, one of the things some people will tell you it's hereditary, because you look at one person, you might find they have it, mother have it, sister has it. It's hereditary. Okay, they also say like being overweight increases your chances of getting breast cancer. Some people say that it's your diet that increases the chances of breast cancer, but no one can really specify one single thing apart from maybe the gene that is causing cancer.
Okay, I've heard that the mammogram, it doesn't tells you if you have breast cancer. It's the sonogram. So why not just the sonogram? Why does it have to be both of it?
Usually it's not both. The regular test that they do first is a mammogram. If there's issues, then they go to the ultrasound or the sonogram and so forth.
So couldn't I just choose the sonogram alone? Because I've heard the mammogram is like, whoa.
You can. But sometimes it's like a medication.
Why is it that they say that the first time you do a mammogram is age 40? What about younger women who are getting breast cancer?
Typically, that's the age they would say, but we know that young people get it too. So you have to look and see if there's a family history. If there's a family history, you may not want to wait until you're 40 something. You might want to start doing it in your 20s. You know what I'm saying? So look at the history, and that's very helpful. Also, look at the work you do. Some people work with a lot of radiation, you know, and if they do, they should consider having a test just to make sure.
I just wanted to add something, because we know that the Bible tells us that for everything there is a cause, and we have to approach illness with a spiritual lens, recognizing that nothing comes just to come. And there's always a reason, right?
That's
and a lot
right.
of times when you're dealing with cancer, illness, it means that your immune system is suppressed, because we have cancer cells growing in us right now as we speak.
Yes, we
But
do.
a healthy body would
Yes, we do.
recognize those malignant cells, and then your immune system will destroy them. So it wouldn't allow it to manifest into a tumor. A lot of times when your body is immunosuppressed, the body will isolate those cells and it will accumulate to a tumor. And that's your body, one, protecting itself, so that way those cells are not randomly all over the place. It kind of puts it into a pocket. Okay. And these are methodologies that God placed in our bodies. You know what I'm saying? He designed us so well, but conventionally, they look at the tumor and they say, oh no, you're gonna die tomorrow, right? They put this fear in us. And whenever that fear is there, you forget about God. You forget you're not thinking rationally. So you're being pressured now to, oh, you have to do this tomorrow. You have to do this. You're gonna die. And it's like, no, God wants us to come to him. He wants us to understand how our bodies work and intelligently deal with it. A lot of times these things have been growing in our bodies 10 years before the mammogram even detects it. And a lot of times it's due to unforgiveness, stress, things that you've gone through in life that you never let go and you're harboring it. And we're not letting go, we're not giving it to God. And it manifests itself in a form of disease.
That's right.
So we have to really start to approach and look at illness the way that God sees it, you know, and then we can intelligently and with a calm spirit and a calm mind. And that's why when the question was asked earlier, like, how would we react to it? As much as I studied this, and I'm not saying I'm an expert by any means, if the doctor came to me and said to Marshallin, you have breast cancer, I'm not panicking because I already know in my mind the mechanisms and how the body works. And I know, okay, I have to go hard as far as my diet, working out, you know, doing things to help my body so that my body now can deal with the cancer and dissipate it. And then whatever natural remedies I can apply in addition to that, prayerfully apply those while cooperating with the methods of God. You can't poison a body to health. You can't.
Yes.
Because we see the results of it. Many people who do take them, they don't survive. Or 5 years later, oh, it came back.
Yes.
You know, and it comes back more aggressively because of what was done to the body initially through these toxic chemicals that are placed in our bodies. We have to help the body heal, work with the ways, the natural things that God has given us. He will heal you. He will, trust me, he will. He will.
And honestly speaking, any disease is because of a violation of the health laws. You know, if you monitor yourself, eat properly, drink properly, exercise, sunlight, do all of those things, I'm not saying that you can't come down with an illness because, you know, the Lord allows a Satan to go so far, but you have to really follow the laws of health if you really want to be in the best health possible. Okay. Any other question? My sister? Hold on a second. Give her the mic.
Who has a question?
Or making a statement. Yes.
You have to have a lump in your breast to have, if you have cancer, it has to be a lump.
Well,
Breast cancer, if you have cancer.
it could be a lump, it could be a hardening, you know, a thickening. Yes, it could be anything like that. Not specifically a lump per se. Could feel like a marble, it could feel like a pea, like sometimes like an almond, you know, different size, different shapes, different level of firmness. You know, some of them could be very, very hard and firm and hold on to the skin. Some of them might be loose, you know, so it could be any shape. Yes.
I heard they say that men also get breast cancer. What are the percentage?
Yeah, men also get breast cancer, but as we mentioned before, 42,000 women per year die of it versus only 500 men per year die of breast cancer.
Okay.
So they also die of breast cancer, you know. Okay, at this time, I'm gonna bring, do we have
I have
another question?
3 questions.
One more
One here,
question.
one here.
Mhm.
How do they detect the man has breast cancer?
Same way. Same way as women.
What?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I have a question.
And they could do biopsies and all these different things. Yeah, go ahead. Question?
What about women that have silicone breasts?
In terms of breast cancer?
Yes. how they
Well, I
check-
would say
how they
that
check?
that
Okay.
definitely increases the chances of having breast cancer. You know,
They can't check.
and if they think it's a problem, if they would have to go and they would have to remove it and then do the mammography or whatever they need to do.
But
Oh.
are they able to check with that?
They'll take out the silicone to do the test. Okay, so at this point, we're gonna hold all other questions for later. Our speaker is with us today. And I have known our speaker, Sister Anne Marie Frazier, and her husband, Leonard Frazier, almost 40 years. We all grew up in Shiloh Seventh-day Adventist Church. She's one of the best AY leaders I have ever met. She's also a master guide. She was the leader of our Bible Bowl team many years at Shiloh. She currently works for the Northeastern Conference of Seventh-day Adventists. She was also the camp manager at Camp Victory Lake for a couple of years. She is the author of 2 books, one, Common Sense Cancer, and the other one dealing with finances. She's an international speaker. She has spoken all over the country on health and on finances. But today, she's here as a breast cancer survivor. And she is going to tell us about how she was blessed and helped by God to battle this cancer. So I'm going to ask her husband if he's here. Is Lenny here? Elder Leonard Frazier, would you please stand? He's parking. Oh, okay. So at this point, I bring to you Sister Anne Marie Frazier. Behind her.
Hello, everyone. So what she didn't say is we are like best friends. She said a whole lot of things, but she didn't say that. And I just asked her, do you guys clap in your church? Okay. That's why when she announced my name, nobody clapped. Okay, good to know. I'm excited to be here just to talk to you guys a little bit. Yeah, I know that the time is short and we got to do everything that we got to do in a little bit of time left. So we're going to get started. Marlene, I just want to thank you for being a good friend over the many years. You kind of told them how old we are. And yeah, we grew up in Shiloh together. It was just a joy, you know, that you could grow up in church and work for the Lord. And then we look around and we're still here. That's how it's supposed to be. And then the next generation now, the younger generation, I see Shirley down there, they're supposed to be taking over, you know, from us. And so it's always a joy to be able to talk to God's people. No matter where we go, we are one. And I'm excited to be here. So we're talking about breast cancer, given the fact that this is Breast Cancer Month. And just a few things that I want to share with you. Are you gonna? Yes. Thank you so much. Which one? This one? There we go. So you did disclaimers and everything already? No? Okay. All right, guys. So any questions regarding your health should be addressed to your physician. So this presentation is not intended to diagnose, treat, mitigate, or to cure any kind of cancers. This, of course, is just what we got to do to protect the church. And I saw that everything went out. There we go. And the use of these statements does not create an expressed or implied physician-patient relationship. So we're going to go right into this here. You got all the facts already. I heard Marlene was giving you some facts. So you do know that 1 in 8 women is going to be diagnosed with this breast cancer. And just talking about cancer in general, over 6 million people this year in the United States is going to be diagnosed with either a heart attack, cancer, or stroke. So this is a lot. It's just becoming worse for a lot of us. Yes, it does occur in men. As I walked in, I heard someone asking about that. 1 in every 1,500 or so. So it's less, but men do get breast cancer as well. Remember, men has breasts too, right? It's just that they don't have as much of the tissue as the woman, so it's less there. And there are 4 stages to breast cancer, and I believe that, if, let's say, you're in the first stage, you have an opportunity to really beat that cancer. I'm telling you, you can try just natural things, but if you're in the 3rd stage and the last stages of cancer, you really got to think about it, because there's this big debate going on within our churches, whether we should go all natural or whether we should just go the conventional doctor's way. And a lot of people are trying to determine that in their mind. For me, if I had to make a decision, which is what I had to do, right? Because I was already in the 3rd stage of breast cancer, and all it took was just a night for me to be in the last stages. And so I felt I needed the doctors. I also needed the natural. So I did what is called a combination, right? But I'll get more into that with the time that we have. Breast cancer can spread to 5 different places in the body. So what I did was, by God's grace, I started fighting, cleansing all those areas of the body where breast cancer feeds to. So you're talking about your lungs, you're talking about your lymph nodes, right? You're talking about your liver, you're talking about your bones, your brain, your blood. These are the areas that you want to work on if you're diagnosed with breast cancer, because it does spread to those areas. So did you cover this? All right. So just a little bit as to what's happening behind your breast. So do we have a pointer with this, sir? Brother? No. Is there where I can like a spotlight light? Is there one? No? Oh, there you go. Oh, but you can't see it. Yes, you can. Let me see. Just hold it down. There you go. No, sorry. You can't clap for him, but thank you, my brother. Okay. I tend to joke a lot, so I hope you guys understand that it's just trying to lighten myself up, okay? So as you can see here, we have the blood vessels, and they kind of lead into this main lymph node here. So you have 2 main nodes under your armpits, and the doctors tend to want to remove them. I had the one on the right side removed because I had a lot of cancer in the right breast. I also had some in the left. Yeah, is that better? Yeah. You hear me better? All right, beautiful, thank you. And so, the nodes now kind of carry the cancer cells to other parts of the body, right? So you see these little ducts here and these nodules here. This is where, the milk is made, and then it carries it to the nipples here. So anytime you see anything leaking out of your nipples, you want to be like very concerned, unless you're breastfeeding. Then that's different, the milk will be coming out. But as an adult woman, you shouldn't be seeing anything leaking out of your breast. You would be concerned about that, okay? Now, here you have what normal breast cells is supposed to look like. So when the doctors, when they do the biopsy and all of that, and they take it to the lab and they see anything looking like this, they know that the cancer is there because these are rogue cancer cells that has gone bad. And the problem that as women that we normally have is that we feed the cells. So we're going to talk about what you should be eating and what you should not be eating and drinking if you are going through breast cancer. And so these cells became rogue here, they become cancerous, and they start duplicating, and they run to those other sites in the body. So these are some of the symptoms. Marlene probably covered all this already, a painless lump in the breast, right? So sometimes and many times you have cancer, but you don't know because you don't even feel any pain. And with breast cancer, it's usually very painless. So you don't feel it. It's when it becomes so bad is when you start to feel the pain. So sometimes for a few years, you can be walking around with the breast cancer and you don't know that you have it. The doctors did not discover my cancer, I did. And I was getting ready on a Thanksgiving Thursday to go visit Dorothy, my sister-in-law. Every Thanksgiving, that's where we used to go. And my husband was saying, are you ready? Are you ready? Come on, let's go. And I was like all excited and ready to go until when I lift my hand, you know, to pick up my bag, and I got that sharp stabbing pain. And at that point, somehow, I just knew like something is wrong. And something was wrong, right? I had the cancer, and even after I went to the doctor, and even after they did a lumpectomy and they took out the lump and took it to the lab, and it still came back negative, right? Benign. She said, there's nothing for you to worry about. African-American women have cystic breasts, and it's okay. The cancer is not there. There's no cancer. But guess what? Almost 6 months after that, right? I'm still feeling the pain, and the pain is getting worse. And the space where they cut and take out is filled back up. So I knew that I had the cancer. I just couldn't prove it. So that is when I went for a second opinion. So don't be afraid to get a second opinion. That's the point I want to make, because a lot of times we're so close to our doctors, and especially female doctors, you know, and we love them and they work with us and everything, but your body is going to talk to you. And that's your best friend. Your own body is going to tell you that something is wrong, and do not be afraid to go check yourself out, because if I had waited too much longer, I may not be here. Okay. All right. So breast pain. Yep. Not as often. Changes in the breast size and the shape. Both breasts is never the same size. Women, you know that. One is always a little bit maybe bigger than the other one, right? But if that cancer is in there, you would find that if you don't do what you have to do with it, it's going to become heavier and heavier. You're going to know something is wrong. Okay. Swelling under the armpits. That's a sign for you to check out if you feel any lumps under your arm, because like we say, it's spread to the lymph nodes, and your axillary nodes are the two big ones that are under the arms, and then it's spread out through the lymphatic system. And you should try to, at least once a month, try to drain your lymphatic system. Every part of your body, try to do a cleansing, okay? That's what you should be doing. Nipples, changes, discharge, unless you're breastfeeding, you shouldn't see anything there. Now, these are 5 practical mind tips. I threw that in last night to share with you that you can begin to do now. This has nothing to do with healing the cancer, but it has to do with preparing your mind to fight, okay? So what does it say? Number 1 there, it says pray and believe God for healing. That's the first step. You're diagnosed with cancer, you want to go right to God. I mean, we should always be going, but at this time, you know, you want to call on God, because he says, he promises that we would be in good health. Sometimes we do the things that why we get sick, but we still, God doesn't leave us. So that's your first step. Start praying about it. Start taking care of yourself like you never did before. So maybe, I know this is gonna come a little later, maybe you stop eating meat, but you still like your fish, right? You might want to understand that you gotta get off all flesh foods when you're dealing with cancer. So start doing things more than you didn't choose to do before. You're gonna have to, I'll share with you why. Keep a positive attitude. It's very, very important. The Bible says a merry heart do it good like what? Like a medicine. When I went to this place, when I was fighting the cancer, I went to this place and I was there for 10 days. And every night they used to put that on. They had a tape and they used to put that on and these texts will just be playing, right? A merry heart do it good like a medicine. And then they would sing the song and they wanted, I don't sing, but they wanted me to sing the song and just get in the frame of mind to know that you are about to go battle, right, for your life. And exercise your financial plan, put in a claim for living benefits. A lot of people don't even know what I'm talking about. You're gonna have to bring me back when we have time to just talk about living benefits, because I know people who get $500,000, $1 million, $300,000 when they're diagnosed with cancer. And it's living benefits attached to your life insurance plan. And some of you probably have life insurance, but have you checked to see if you attach the living benefits to it? It's a rider, because then you can claim your life insurance while you're alive and you don't have to die and it pays out to somebody else. So these are just things that you can do for yourself now. And that's a whole class in itself. And decide to change your diet. You have to. You have to. There's no choice about that, right? So I was always vegetarian from the time I became an Adventist, which was about 18 years old. So imagine my shock, knowing that from 18 years old, I haven't had any meat, I haven't had any fish, I really wasn't drinking milk and things like that. How then I came down with breast cancer? These are the questions that people ask me all the time. And I believe that even though see, the laws of health is more than just nutrition. As you know, there are how many laws of nature? 8, guys, 8. And we have to follow all of them. So I know I wasn't resting. I know I wasn't sleeping. If you're not sleeping and resting properly, it means you're not replenishing your blood cells. You're not making good blood cells, which is made between 10 and 2. So you're going to bed 12 o'clock, you're going to bed 1 o'clock, you're losing out. So I know I wasn't following all the laws of health. And I had loved cheese. I tell people all the time, I love cheese. I wasn't eating meat, but I was making cheese sandwiches every day. I love the Swiss cheese with the holes in it. And I love the cheddar cheese, but you know what? Now I don't eat the cheese. You can't, because these are the things that will feed cancer. So it's not just the meat alone. Sometimes we get down on the meat eaters, right? It's all of it. It's a package. So those are the main things that you can try to look at right now, you know, to help yourself. I wanted to show you some pictures here and how the breast cancer actually looks. So you can see a normal breast here, but you can see the one that is riddled with the cancer, how the cells become so rogue, right? One of the things you have to find out if you are diagnosed with breast cancer is, what is your trigger? What is it that's actually triggering your cancer? So for some women, it could be estrogen or it could be progesterone, right? For me, it was the HER2 protein. So it is something that is, the cancer is releasing the cells and they are fusing the cells together. And that's why the breast becomes so heavy and the doctors already know what is going on. Here you see things oozing out from the nipple. It should never happen. If it is happening, you know that you're already in trouble, right? And this is one, you can see that the cancer is so big, it is ready to bust out of the skin. And we have seen people where that happens to them. This one will shock you a little bit. This picture here is the last one that I'm going to show you here. Okay? Take a look at this one. This cancer already busts through the skin, but this is the cancer of a meat eater. And you can see the difference when God gives us an instruction, what God is talking about. We don't know what he's talking about, but we pay the consequences of it, right? So I want us to read this together. This is coming from the book, Great Controversy. Everybody reading, please. And it says what? But its use is now doubly objectionable, since disease in animals is so rapidly increasing. Those who use flesh foods little know what they are eating. Often, if they could see the animals when living and know the quality of the meat they eat, they would turn from it with what? With loathing. And here the Lord is telling us, look, don't wait until you have to fight this. Don't wait. Start listening to the spirit of prophecy now and change your diet, okay? Because it does better for you when your body is to the point where you can fight whatever come onto it, all right? Finish reading this. It says, people are continually eating flesh that is filled with what? Tuberculosis and cancerous germs. There, God is already telling us where the cancer is coming from. Tuberculosis, cancer, and other fatal diseases are what? Thus communicated. So one of the things you want to do, as I say, is what? Change your diet. So these are some of the things that you don't want to drink if you're diagnosed with breast cancer or any type of cancer. Sugar, high fructose drinks. Why, anybody? Why you want to keep away from those type of drinks? The sugar feeds the cancer. So remember now, cancer cells lives for 6 months in your body. 6 months. So you have a chance to kill those cells, but you don't want to feed them. And so you don't want to drink the high fructose sugar juices, the coffee. This here is like, you know, soda. We even let our children drink the 7-Up and the ginger ale and, you know, the orange soda, the canned soda. If you know how acid soda is, you will not drink it. Because they use it to make batteries that is in your car. That's how acid it is. And so cancer thrives in acidity. So when you drink just 1 glass of soda, and sometimes at church, we serve a meal and we make some really nice juice and then we want to pour a whole bottle of 7-Up in it or whatever. We think we are doing well, but we aren't, because it takes 37 glasses of pure water to neutralize 1 glass of soda. That's the amount of acid that is in soda. And these are the things that will feed your cancer cells. And for the men who are here, we're talking about breast cancer, but you may have prostate cancer. Cancer is cancer, by the way. So these are the things you don't want to drink. Well, we don't have to worry about alcohol and wine, even though I know Adventist people who love their black cake around Christmas time and they put a lot of alcohol in it, but we don't want to do that. Cow's milk, the fruit juices that we buy in the store, the hot chocolate, and of course, eating and drinking together or drinking ice water with your meal. Why is that bad? Anybody? It interrupts the digestion. What's that? Wash away the digestive tract. Okay. Hot and cold. So you know that your body's a certain temperature. And then when you drink that cold, the body has to stop digesting your food. So to build up the temperature or take down the temperature in your body, right? And then you have to wait until it gets back to normal to start to digest the food. So by the time that happens, the food is already fermented and sour in your stomach, right? So this is why we have these principles for us to follow. So now, what do you drink? Well, you want to drink the alkaline water. And I know a lot of people are questioning the alkaline water, but I must say to you, I know it's what I drank, and I drank plenty of it, right? For some reason, it really helped me. And because I know that I was trying very hard to get rid of the acid, neutralize the alkaline a little bit. You don't want to go overboard. So you don't want to go up to 11, okay, 0.0. You're talking about maybe 7.5, 8, 8.5. That's not going to hurt the body. That's going to start neutralizing time. Okay. How much time I have? That's it? Wow. Okay, guys, all my time is gone. So I want to encourage you to pay attention to this slide here. If I can encourage you to even just deal with this, your body would start to turn itself around because your body is 70% water. And most of us drink 1 glass or 2 glasses. And I know here in this church, I see a lot of healthy people. So I know that you guys know that you should be drinking your 8 glasses. It's very important. Why? Your brain is 75% water. Your blood is 83%, your kidneys, 83% water. And look at where the breast cancer feeds. It feeds your liver, it feeds your lungs, and your lymph. 94% water. So this is what I saw when I was battling with my cancer, and the Lord spoke to me. The Lord spoke to me, if you can get your water right, you will get 70% of your body right. And you're gonna have a chance to fight any kind of cancers. So even if this is the only thing you take away, you wanna start drinking the right type of water and the required amount. We're gonna do 2 more slides and stop, okay? Because I was just told we have 2 minutes. If you're diagnosed with cancer, say something, especially the older generation. Don't sit down and go through and battle cancer by yourself. Share it with your children, share it with your family, and so on. Don't be afraid. God has not given us a spirit of fear, right? Don't hide your sickness. It's not your fault. It really isn't your fault because you can pick up cancer cells anywhere, right? Just from breathing in secondhand smoke, all sorts of things, okay? So do not turn away from the medical doctors. I think this is important because a lot of medical missionaries just don't believe in anything that the doctors do or have to say. But I think God has also given knowledge to the doctors, okay? So even though I use a lot of natural stuff and I encourage it because that's what God has given us, I still encourage that you work with a professional, a medical professional. They are the only ones that can order a scan for you so that you can see what's going through your body. And I've known people who pass away that never even went to the doctor. When they thought that they were beating cancer, they were close to their death. The cancer had already taken over 70, 80% of their liver. You cannot live without a liver. So had you gone to your doctor and you did a test and you see what was going on, you could have do a liver flush. You could have do 1 or 2 liver flushes. It's just lemon juice, right? And olive oil. And so you can flush the parts of the body that you know the cancer is going to affect. Do not violate the 8 laws of health. And do not let anybody make you believe that you are going to die. Even though they tell you you're going to die, God has the last word. Because I was given 6 months. 6 months. And I was so sick that anybody would believe that that's what would happen. But here I am, and it's 15 years later. Okay? Praise the Lord. So Lenny is here. Lenny, I need a book. I want to give away 2 of my books because my time is up. And you guys get the books. Marlene has them. Get it and read it. I have a program in there. So if you know someone who's battling breast cancer, they can follow that program. People tend to get confused because what happens? Everybody's trying to tell you what to use. Everybody's trying to sell you a product. Everybody's trying to tell you something. And so sometimes you just get confused, or maybe you don't have the money to buy everything that people want you to buy. So I do have a program in there. I have all the things that I use. You can follow it, and it will indeed help you to understand more what to do, okay? I'm gonna run through this really quick. The Easy-Act tea. This is something I'm using now for 15 years. This is what was introduced to me when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. The herbs that is in the tea, you could try to make it yourself, right? Or if you can afford it, you buy it. But this is a tea that will prevent those cancer cells from duplicating. It also helps to clean the blood, right? And remember, blood is what? Is life. So here you have, if you want to snap that, these are the herbs if you want to buy it yourself and try to make the tea. Thousands of people have survived breast cancer just by the tea. And there's one herb that they now add to it, cat's claw. Okay, cat's claw. So write that down, get that, make the tea, drink the tea. It's going to help you. We're not here to sell you anything, but I want to tell you these are the things that I use. This is a cell food. And this is very inexpensive and it lasts you 6 months. But for any kind of disease that you're struggling with, this is so good. It has more than 74 enzymes, and enzymes is needed to break down your food. So you could be eating all the good things that you want, but if it's not being broken down, because your body doesn't understand rice and peas. Your body don't know what is chicken or what is mashed potato or anything like that, or broccoli. Your body only understands vitamins and minerals and proteins and fats and carbohydrates. That's what your food is broken down into. So you want to make sure that you have good enzymes, that if you are taking in fat, you have the enzymes in there that will break down the fat. You have protease that will break down the protein. And my time is really, really up. Okay, you want to get a good vitamin? And this here is a #1 thing that I was using. This is called organic minerals. So your body doesn't make minerals. You cannot make minerals. You got to put it back in. And cancer cells tends to put a lot of toxins in your system. So even the food that you might be eating, you're not getting all the minerals that you should get. For example, the men, if you're having prostate cancer or problems with prostate, it's because you need that zinc. That's a mineral that your body is just not going to make. So take a few drips, you put it in your water, you drink it before you go. These things last more than 6 months because you're just taking a few drips every day and build up your system. And as I close, I want to encourage you to keep your red blood cells, your white blood cells high. Your white blood cells are your immune cells. That is what's going to fight pneumonia. That's what's going to fight COVID. That's what's going to fight cancer, your immune cells. So when you take the chemotherapy, you take the radiation, you are going to be destroying your own body's immune system. So what you want to do is to build up those white blood cells. It's going to fight cancer for you. And one of the things that I use, I can't talk about everything. You need fiber. I think you need that. You know that already, right? So that your colon look like this and your colon don't look like this. And you guys know how your stool comes out. So you kind of know what your colon looks like. And you want to get this back to how it's supposed to be, and fiber is going to do that for you. So I wanted to show you, of course, you need the green juice, right? What do you need? The green juice. Why? The chlorophyll. Why chlorophyll? It makes your blood. This is why they always tell cancer patients, go juice kale and cabbage and the green juice and stuff. You know, I have always been busy, so I use this powder. It has all the green foods in it. It is very good. It is what NASA use when they go up in space. Obviously, they're not going to have fresh cabbage or kale to juice, but they get more nutrients in the way that this is produced than even the fresh. So if you are so busy that you can't do the juicing, make it easy for you. If you can do the juicing, that's fine. And the last product I want to show you, this is going to help you to drain your lymph nodes. If you do have breast cancer, so you want to be on the rebounder, you want to use it maybe 2 or 3 times a week so that you can drain the toxins to get out of your lymph nodes, okay? That is something that I use also. So I'm going to have to stop here. Natural chemo, come on, Marlene. I want to give 2 other books. Your natural chemo will be your soursop leaf, you know, your apricot seeds. Those are the things that I use to help you. This has been really, really rushed. But thank you so much for listening. We want to give away 2 books. Is there someone who battling? Maybe you don't want people to know you have cancer, but you think you need the book? I see a hand. Come and get it. Come and get it. I see two hands. Okay.
Where's the other hand?
We going, right, on both sides. Nobody on this side put up their hand. All right, so enjoy the books. I don't know if we even have time for a question, but yeah, one maybe. Yeah, one. Let's do it quick. Who is speaking? All right, what's your question? Really quick. Yeah, that is when you want to take it before the cancer come. And by the way, cancer, it takes 8 years before a tumor can develop in your body. And even though you do a mammogram, if the cancer cell is smaller than a rice grain, the mammogram will not pick it up and you're walking around with cancer. So you do want to always be on things that will keep you healthy. What about the sonogram? Well, it depends. You know, some people don't want to do the mammogram and because it's very painful, by the way, and they think that the sonogram would be better. Like I said, either one of them, you can go for it, you know. One more. Okay, so you use the rebounder. You use the rebounder and you bounce on it like this. And you do this for at least a minute or two or count to 100 because you want to break up a little sweat and you want to start draining the lymph nodes.
Are you drinking anything with the rebounder?
Well, you could drink water.
Okay,
You
no
could sip
lemon
on
or
water.
juice.
No, well, people know that lemon and water is the first thing in the morning, right? Like, I'm hoping that you already know this. I'm saying.
Okay. We want to thank Sister Frazier for all the information that she provided today. I just wish we had much more time. And again, is her husband, Elder Frazier, here? I'd like him to stand for a second. Elder Frazier, welcome to the program. It's good to see you. All right, we're going to end and I'm going to turn it over to our first elder, Elder Hamilton.
Thank you, Sister Robinson. Thank you, Sister Fraser and Elder Fraser for coming and to impart such knowledge to us. I'm going to read for us from Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, which says, "And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of the tree yielding seeds. To you it shall be meat." So God has provided whatever we need. He has given us trees with fruits for us to eat from, but we prefer the rice and peas, right? We prefer the cake and we prefer the this and that. We don't bother with that because it's too simple to just pick the fruit fresh from the tree and eat. And verse 30 says, "And every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to everything that creepeth upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat." And it was so. God provided the food for everyone. There was no need for us to make up this, make up that, make up that to eat. A lot of us like to eat veggie meat, including myself. But have we ever wondered what's in it? Have we ever checked the fruit, the prints behind where it says ingredients to see how good it is for our lives? We need to start doing these things. We need to eat naturally. The Lord has said in 3 John 2, "Beloved, what? Beloved, I wish above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in good health as thy soul prospereth." So we ought to purpose in our hearts to follow the laws of health that the Lord has provided for us. I thank you for the program you did. It was good. And I hope you'll come again one day when we are over there in our new building where we can have a wonderful time on a Sunday doing this. All right? We're now going to stand and sing the hymn number 56 to close.
The day thou gavest, Lord, is ended. The darkness falls at thy behest. To thee, your morning hymns ascended. Thy praise shall hallow now our rest. We thank thee that thy church, unsleeping while earth rose onward into light. Through all the world her watch is keeping and rest not now by day or night. As o'er each continent and island the dawn leads on another day, the voice of prayer is never silent, nor die the strains of praise away. So be it, Lord, thy throne shall never like earth's broad emperors pass away. Thy kingdom stands and grows forever, till all thy creatures own thy sway. So be it, Lord, thy throne shall never like earth, broad emperors pass away. Thy kingdom till all thy creatures own thy. Let us kneel for prayer, please. O Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. We thank you for another wonderful Sabbath day that was well spent in your courts, and for all the programs that you were privy to. We thank you that we could have been here. We ask for forgiveness where we have sinned. We ask that you show up on us the special blessing that you have in store for us. We ask that you be with us now throughout this new and untried week that we have embarked upon. And may our lives truly reflect the character of Jesus wherever we go. Give us the desire to tell others of your love, your mercies, and your soon coming. And to tell others that they may come to know you as Lord and personal Savior of their lives before it's too late. We know we are living in the time of the end. We know your coming is near. So help us to make our calling and election sure. We ask for a special blessing upon the offering. May it go to the furtherance of your cause. And we ask that you'll bring us back together on Wednesday night via Zoom for prayer meeting, and then back here on Sabbath where we can worship you together in the beauty of holiness. So we ask these mercies with thanksgiving